October 4th, 2019. We are in Southwest Louisiana. This property is about 15-20 minutes south of Lake Charles, so we're not far from the coast. This St. Augustine and Centipede, this St. Augustine and Zoysia mix. This is probably the thickest part of the yard is right in here. This is a 10-acre property we cut. But I mean, I cut this last Tuesday, so this is about 9 days. We cut this property every week, just a few days late this week. But I mean, you can see if you look at that deck, there's 8 to 10 inches of growth in some spots. It's still growing like crazy. This is a Grasshopper 325 diesel, 61 inch, the 2014 model. I think I just broke 2,600 hours last week. Well, early last week, so it's probably got another 20-30 hours on it since then. This property is it's a 20-acre farm. The main house is here, but we take care of about 10 acres. It's got these big live oak trees everywhere. Like, that's one of the smaller ones right there. There's 2 big ones up there by the road, and I was standing under. These are 2 giant ones here. I'll just slowly walk backwards away from them. You can see we got a weed eat under all the limbs. The big cathedral live oaks. The one on the left is probably the second largest one on the property. I would probably say it's 200 to 250 years old. The biggest one is up here in the front. On the other side, it's in front of the house. It's probably closer to 300 to 350 years. It's an old tree. That's it right there, coming into view on the other side of the truck. Right there. I'd say the actual trunk on it's probably close to 8-9 foot wide diameter. It might be a little more than that in some spots. It's huge. But we take care of this big property. Here's the driveway right here, and then it goes all the way down to this next road right over here. So we hadn't cut this section yet. And it goes up to this side road over here. It goes way back in here by the barn. So right now I have one mower down, so I do weed eating, he does some weed eating, we trade off mowing. So it takes about, just depending on how thick it is, like today it'll take us about 3.5 hours with that one mower to cut this property. But it don't take that long to weed eat an edge and blow, because there's not a lot of blowing. We just blow off the patio, the driveway, and there's a back patio. But just wanted to show you all the mower, mowing some thick grass, and kind of show this property here. I guess I could do a little more walkthrough on it. I'm using this is the Echo 2620. Use that to edge the beds and do all the basic weekly maintenance. Planted this little bald cypress tree for the customer about 2 years ago. It's doing pretty good. See, we'll mulch these beds. It's got a little bit of grass in there. I hadn't blown that out in a while. I mean, we'll edge it about once a month. We'll come out and edge these ones out in the yard. But the beds up by the house, we edge them weekly. Top them if they need it. But they usually don't top. We don't top. We cut the grass pretty high here. Cut it on like 4.5, 4.75. Put a nice edge on the beds. I'll walk up here and kind of show you. We just edged that St. Augustine. It's pretty much all St. Augustine in here. I built this bed I don't know, probably 10 years ago, it seems like. There was already 4 or 5 crepe myrtles here in a row. And I ended up cutting the bed in, adding this row of crepe myrtles. Planted these azaleas, and there's a few shishis in there. But this is the big tree here, right in the front of the house. I'll walk up. Every few years he gets them trimmed up. Like, I guess it was early last year he had this tree trimmed up where we could mow under it, but it's already reaching down, touching the ground just about. But this is the big trunk. This tree is just massive, but he lost the top. Hurricane Rita, you can actually see where the middle part, it used to go up the middle and up the top. It broke off during the hurricane years ago, but it's filled back out at the top with new growth. But this is a big live oak. I'll walk up to it. You can kind of see the age if you just look at the bark on it. You can just look at that, how old that tree is. The tree is massive. Watch. See all the character on the bark. See, they lost a big limb there years ago. And then look, on this side of the property, there's 2 more big live oaks. And then there's 3 more back there. I think there's 12 or 13 big live oaks on this property. So, just kind of a walkthrough. And then we got some planted out here. He planted about 10-15 years ago. Some smaller live oaks out along the road. Here's a little pond cypress I planted last year, starting to take off. He owns all the way up almost to the other barn over there, but we don't cut this. He just has somebody come in and do hay. I'm sure eventually he's gonna want that to look like a yard, but but you can see under these trees, it's just beautiful under here. And the temperature drops about 10 degrees under here. The shade is just, it's amazing. Feels so much better walking under these big live oaks or working under them. So, but just wanted to show you all this property.